Episode 132, Maximum Awareness and the Present Moment.
You're listening to the very best podcast in the world on health, wealth, and happiness. Please remember to leave a review and share with all your friends and family. And here is your host, Lars Hilser.
And it's another Tuesday. Welcome to the very best podcast in the world, your only source in the entire multiverse is for personal supremacy through health, wealth, and happiness. So I think the intro is pretty much the only thing that's consistent in this podcast. And we've been covering quite a few interesting topics, I believe. This one is the result of, of an interesting video that I saw, which debated the importance of, nothing less than awareness, and why awareness is important, and why it's important to reach and maintain a certain amount of awareness. And awareness is really the state in which you kind of take in your surroundings pretty much with all your senses. And the ideal is that you do so to a degree which is your maximum possible perception of your surrounding. So that being said, the present moment, what do we refer to? Or what do we mean by that? Right? The present moment is something that is, for a lot of us, unenjoyable to its fullest extent, simply because we're so busy with focusing our attention, focusing our senses on such a variety of things that we lose touch sometimes with our personal ability to take in the surroundings, the beauty of the surroundings with all senses, not only sight, but smell and touch and, the sounds of the birds chirping in the trees, or, the hustle and bustle of a city, and reflecting on what the current hustle and bustle is about, right? What does our gut tell us is the current situation? Is there a threat? Is there happiness? Is there, this feeling of stress, for instance, in the morning when you're on the subway somewhere, going to your office, or, going to a meeting? What's the general feel? What's the general vibe of the surrounding, right? That's what's taken in by our gut feeling, which, we did an episode about that really a while ago, and it's totally worth listening to. I think it's one of the most listened to episodes. Now, awareness, let me give you a very stupid example. For north of 20 years, I was what I refer to as a professional teeth grinder, right? So not only at night would I grind my teeth, I would do it during the day. And my subconscious would kind of start doing that. So 10 years in, I started to realize that making myself aware of this is quite a challenge. And I have to put this kind of before anything else, right? It's not something that you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to be more aware going through my day. That's not going to fly Sorry, it's not that simple, right? It takes a lot of practice, and it takes a lot of calming yourself down, making yourself aware that you want to be aware, that you want to be more aware. Sorry, right? So this example was, I noticed that it became a problem very early on, but I couldn't help myself because my subconscious was doing it, right? So I tried to really raise my level of awareness towards this particular problem and took a lot of practice, really noticing that my jaw muscles were starting to contract and that this had a negative impact. So I taught myself that, okay, if you don't listen to or if you're not aware of your muscles contracting, it's going to lead to problems down the line, right? And that helped significantly to a degree where I was able to loosen my jaw muscles to a degree where I know that I wouldn't grind anymore. And through this continuous improvement came a relaxation of the jaw in general, which again, left me to have a good night without waking up because my jaw was, my jaw muscles were cramping, right? The present moment, this was an example of awareness. The present moment, I think, is very easily defined by the fact that it is the only thing that is true, right? The future isn't written. The past is the past. You can't do anything about it. So the only way you can change your life is in the present moment. So the future, it's something abstract because it's not there. The future is a product of your actions, right? So the awareness of and in the present moment will allow you to make better decisions which have a positive influence and therefore influence your future positively as well. Let me give you an example. Being aware of your surrounding, will give you feedback from people that you're engaged with, right? Let's take your boss and they're having a bad day. And you notice this and they come at you and they chew at you for something you may or may not have done. However, their reaction is exaggerated because they are having a bad day. If you're aware of this and take a step back and show understanding for whatever the reason is that they're having a bad day, but instead of going into this vicious escalation cycle, you show understanding, you swallow the bitter pill, and therefore influence your future positively because your relationship to your boss will remain more positive than it would if you were to want to preserve your ego, to show him, to draw the line, and to show them that they're stepping out of line and that have crossed the line. With the bad mood they're in, all you're going to get is a vicious cycle of escalation. And this vicious cycle of escalation will inevitably lead to a deterioration of your relationship. So you see, the future here is the relationship. And depending on how aware you are of how that person or that person is having a bad day, is having, a fit, which they normally don't, you positively influence your future. It's that simple, right? And the same is true for a variety of situations. I could probably talk hours about giving you examples. But it's important to understand the core message here. Your future is based on your talent to assess through awareness your surrounding in the present moment more carefully, and thereby influencing your future positively, your unwritten future. So I hope I was able to bring that point across. Takes a lot of talent, takes a lot of practice. Trust me, it's not easy, but you will know and start to notice that your life is just going to improve. Your future, be it immediate or in the distance, will have positive results. So in that sense, I hope I was able to help you. If you are aware of someone who could benefit from this episode, please share it with them. If you are interested in this podcast and haven't done so, please make sure to subscribe. And until then, until the next time, until tomorrow, actually, I wish you a successful day and a good night. And we'll be in touch tomorrow with a totally new episode of the very best podcast in the world. Take care, stay tuned, and see you tomorrow.